everyone! Today is a big day for my cottage garden. It's planting day. I'm going to share how all the plants I've been growing are doing and how I'm going to figure out where it's all going to go. Then, in the second half of this video, I'll take you along on a recent cottage garden inspiration trip. If this is your first video, I've been working on growing a cottage garden from seed as a beginner gardener. I'll link the 2 videos so far below so you can catch up and see what the process has been like. If you're like me and just have a normal backyard that you're trying to turn into your little dream garden, then you'll fit right in. I'm not an expert gardener, and most of the time I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. If that sounds good to you, then I'd love for you to join me on this journey. In the past week or so, it seems like everything has doubled in size. We've had nice warm weather lately with lows in the 40s and highs in the 70s. Honestly, I'm a little stressed about the number of plants that I have and getting them all into the ground. I really did not think that this many of my seeds would grow. The sweet peas I started in February are very ready to be planted out. The tags have worn off, so I'm not sure which is which, but I think I have a light purple, high scent variety, a light blue, and a burgundy color. I don't think it will matter too much if I don't know what color goes where. This assortment of little pots is a mix of chocolate Queen Anne's lace and purple nigella. I honestly don't know if I see Queen Anne's lace fitting into my plan, so I might plant it somewhere else. Here I have pink delphiniums that I got started growing last minute this spring, since pretty much all of mine that I had planned to plant died in a frost earlier this year. I don't really know what to expect from these, but they're going in the garden. The nasturtiums are looking healthy. I think this variety is called Vanilla Berry. I have so many more cosmos than I planned for this garden, but that's okay because I have plenty of other spaces in the yard to fill out. These are the Sensation Mix cosmos, which definitely grew the weakest, but I'm hoping that they catch up to the rest later on. Then I have white, zinnia, which is a bright magenta, xanthos, which is a buttery yellow color, rubenza, which is deep burgundy, and candy stripe, which will be white with magenta edges. These ones have definitely grown the strongest and been the healthiest right out the gate. These are white Kilimanjaro marigolds, which are new to me this year. And then I have some coral fountain amaranth, which I think might be a little hard to place compared to some of the other things. So I might put these in pots. This is Mahogany Splendor hibiscus. This and the Mexican torch are pretty behind everything else growing wise, so I'm not sure if I'm going to plant those out now or save a spot for them to plant later. And these are castor oil plants, which are doing great this year. Out of the dahlias, pretty much all of the tubers grew, which really surprised me since some of them were kind of mushy feeling when I planted them out. There's just 3 that didn't make it, and one of those was one I bought new this year, so that was an interesting surprise. So here's the cottage garden area that I'm going to be planting up. I'm going to need to be a little bit strategic on how I lay out the plants. There's already a decent amount of plants in these beds that I need to work around. I do need to go through and check if all the dahlias that were in the ground made it through the winter, and then I'll start placing plants where I want them to go. I also want to add some pots into my cottage garden design to soften the edges a little bit. The tulips that I had blooming are done now, so those pots are available. I'm going to have to give them some thought though about what I want to put in there and how I'm going to arrange everything. I think first I'm going to plant the trellises and vines where I want them, and then I'm going to put out the dahlias and cosmos, followed by the smaller plants, and see where I want to place everything. I planted both sweet peas and nasturtiums at the base of each trellis because I'm not sure which ones are going to like it where, and I want something to grow. Now I'm putting down some plants in general where I want them to grow. It's too many plants, but I'm going to narrow it down as I start putting them into the ground. I decided that I want to group some plants together by color and then also sprinkle some of the colors around the garden so that it feels a little bit more natural and less random. The other thing that I've tried to do is group different color combinations together that I think will look good. For example, I really like how the combination of Candy Stripe, Rubenza, and the Joey Nikki Dahlia look together. So I'm going to group those together in some areas. And then another combo that I really like is Xanthos and Rubenza together. And then also Xanthos, Rubenza, Zinnia, and Mahogany Splendor. I'm also going to try to put any Xanthos cosmos near the front of the path so that there will be more yellow at the beginning and then that will fade out the further that you go down the path. Planting all these plants out was definitely a multi-day job. It took me a 3-day weekend to get most of the plants into this walkway area and then a few more days to get the rest in. I think I definitely overplanted in most areas, but we'll see when it all grows in. For the pot leading into the path, I used Candy Stripe and Rubenza Cosmos surrounded by the amaranth at the base of the pot. I never know what the right amount of plants are, so this could be way too much or not enough. I also planted up the terracotta pots that I had tulips in. I moved the pots more towards the entrance to the patio side of the garden so that it helps transition between the two areas. I planted Xanthos and Zinnia Cosmos here with a little Italian oregano that I bought earlier this year. Here's the final planting. It doesn't look like much now, but a lot of hard work went into it and I can't wait to see how it grows. With the leftover plants, I planted a lot of them in my gravel patio area. A lot of the plants didn't survive from winter in this area, so I have a lot of empty space. Historically, it's been really hard to grow things here since it just gets beaten by hot afternoon sun, but I'm hoping to keep it more watered this year and have better luck. I also want to show you how the patio garden is doing. The tulips are over, but the foxgloves are flowering, which is so exciting. I've been waiting over a year for this to happen. They're mostly magenta, and then there are some peach-colored foxgloves, and then some that kind of seem like a blend between the two colors, which is really pretty. In mid-May, I took a trip to Shriner's Garden for the first time, and it did not disappoint. Shriner's Garden is located in Salem, Oregon, and it was the perfect time to visit since this year is their centennial celebration, which means they've been in business for 100 years. During Shriner's annual bloom season event, you can visit their huge display garden, iris fields, and a cut flower show. I was most interested in visiting the show garden since I had heard so much about it. It was massive, beautiful, and honestly not at all what I expected. The way they organized their garden and the plant choices and colors were all really inspiring. I especially loved how they chose to pair the irises with cottage garden plants like lupins and columbine. There were so many different varieties of irises. I think most people, including me, thought that irises only came in magenta, yellow, and white, but there were so many more colors and varieties. It really made me rethink irises and how I could use them in my garden. I didn't buy any this day, but I did log away a few ideas and varieties that I liked and will definitely be taking note of next year's catalog. I think my favorites were the blush pink and faded peach varieties. If you're ever in the area during the month of May, I definitely recommend visiting. The garden is about an hour away from Portland, Oregon, and there are lots of other farms and gardens nearby to visit as well. As always, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you're all having a beautiful spring season and taking great care of yourselves. I'll see you next time.